All righty. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you're actually live. This is Live Less Stress Live. Today I'm answering a few questions I received about one of the topics that affects us all, aging. How do we age gracefully? And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? You can get chapter 12, the Tricky Toxins chapter, for free. Just comment Tricky Toxins or go to drgayla.com/links. Arguably, the Tricky Toxins chapter is the most important chapter. So don't miss this opportunity to grab your copy for free. So let's just start by laying the groundwork here with a few points that I'd like you to remember when I'm answering some of these questions as we go through this here today. We want to make sure that we're doing what I refer to as happy, healthy aging. So we don't just want to live a long life. We want to live a happy, productive, independent life, right? We want to be healthy and basically not spend the last years of our life in the round robin of doctor's appointments. One of the things that my grandfather said as he was, just about to be at the end of his life, he said, that he had a really great life until the last few years, and that the last few years of his life were not worth anything, he said. And so I always say that I see myself at 120 just keeling over, walking on the beach, and somebody can just roll me into the ocean and let the sea creatures have me at that point. I have a odd fear of sharks after having seen Jaws when I was a teenager. So the story actually goes, the sharks can have me at that point, but if there's no shark nearby, any sea creature is welcome. They may not want me at 120, but you get what you get, right? If you're getting a free meal. Excuse me. So, speaking of 120, that might sound crazy, but there have been studies now that have shown that we're living longer and longer, and that people in their 30s and 40s will regularly live beyond 100. And so, excuse me, I really got something tickled there. So if you think it's not going to make a difference because you're going to hit 70 and just keel over, that is unlikely to happen. And I suggest that you act like you're going to live to 100 plus, meaning that it is never too late to start really taking care of your body. And that includes happy focus on happiness. I talk about the happy brain chemicals. That's dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. And they're all important and they serve different purposes, but we can actually do what I refer to as manufacturing happy brain chemicals. So we don't just have to wait for it to happen naturally. We can actually boost them ourselves just by taking specific action. That's the subject for a different video, but just know that what we're talking about here is happy and healthy aging. And we want to plan for that to continue well past 100 so that if we don't quite make it that far, we are still very healthy and vibrant and independent at whatever age the end comes. The other thing that I just want to caution you about is a subject that I talk about a lot, and that is symptom suppression. So symptom suppression isn't just for us as we age. honestly, we're conditioned to suppress symptoms from the very earliest age. And I really encourage you to think about this as a strategy, because all you're really doing is driving the problem that the symptom is trying to warn you about further into your body. So let's just stop symptom suppression. You'll understand better about what I'm talking about here as you are roaming around in my world. But just know that anything we do to just, whack-a-mole a symptom into suppress whack-a-mole a symptom into submission is not going to ultimately get us where we want to go, and that is this longevity well past 100 and living happy healthy life. Wellness Warriors, that's my membership. Wellness Warriors have access to the metabolic energy system assessment I created. This helps you evaluate 12 categories of toxicity and how they're interfering with your energy production. And energy production is what's required for your body to keep all the systems running effectively. And so it's really important to recognize what type of toxicity your body is struggling to manage. And so you may want to look into becoming a wellness warrior. You can find a link to that at drgala.com/links as well. So let's get started and answer a few questions here. How important is sleep for reversing the signs of aging, and how much sleep should I aim for each night? Well, honestly, I write a Sunday newsletter that goes out to my community every week, and this was the subject. Sleep was under the microscope again this week. Quality sleep is crucial for slowing and even reversing signs of premature aging, or even aging generally, even if it isn't premature. Personally, I'm 63 at the time of making this video. So, as a 63-year-old woman, I'm not trying to look like I'm in my 20s, but I would like to be mistaken occasionally for being in my 40s. And so that's kind of what we're looking for. Premature aging would be that I'm looking like I'm in my 70s when I'm in my 60s. So that's the perspective that I'm coming from. So when we are experiencing deep sleep, our body produces growth hormones that stimulate collagen production, repair tissues, really help to hydrate our skin. And so chronic sleep loss accelerates and advances essentially biological aging. It also increases the risk of age-related diseases, but honestly, it increases the risk of any disease, because if repair and maintenance is not happening like it's supposed to be, then don't be surprised when health issues start accumulating. Most experts recommend aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night for optimal anti-aging benefits. I will say that 7 hours is enough sleep. We tend to stretch that to 9 hours because we don't sleep soundly, so we don't necessarily feel rested after 7 hours. If you're sleeping really soundly, I would challenge you to wake up after 7 hours and find, excuse me, I would challenge you that you'll wake up after 7 hours and find that you really do feel rested. Again, it's when we're not sleeping soundly that we don't feel rested, and we're still laying there trying to get some sleep after 9 hours, and still, get out of bed and feel like, we're not really ready to hit the ground running. Are there specific exercises or physical activities that can help me stay youthful and prevent age-related decline? So movement is one of the absolute critical things to really keep our bones strong, to keep our muscle mass intact, to make sure that we have mobility, which preserves our independence. So regular exercise is one of the most effective natural ways to slow or even I'm sorry, to slow or even reverse aspects of aging. The best activities are moderate exercise like brisk walking, cycling. My husband loves to ride his bike, but I really prefer walking. And so, whatever really works for you, whatever you feel like you will actually do. Like for me, I look forward to getting out and taking a walk. If I have a few minutes in my day and I'm just taking a break, I'll go out for a walk. I really enjoy that. And so you want to make sure you find your thing that you don't have to talk yourself into doing. You want to really strive to get 30 minutes of movement most days, at least 5 times a week. The thing that I will say does not come to me naturally is strength training, but this is really important as well. Even if you just use resistance bands or the kinds of exercises like squats that you can do yourself, um, even something like a TRX can really be helpful. That just, hangs over the door in your house and you can follow along with online programs. And I am always blown away by how strenuous a TRX workout is. Anything you can do also to maintain balance and flexibility, yoga is particularly helpful. Yoga is fantastic because you're actually using your body's own body weight to provide the resistance, and all the stretching and essentially contortions that you put your body into with yoga poses actually recharges that human battery. That friction or tension really helps to get all the internal organs moved as well. And all of that contributes to your improved overall health and well being. How does sun exposure affect aging? And what are the best natural ways to protect my skin from the sun? Well, I want to start by saying that the sun is not evil, and it is the absolute best way to get your vitamin D. If you can get out in the morning sun for somewhere between 15 minutes and an hour, I walk regularly for an hour in full sun and no protection on my skin. And I find that that is the best way to keep my vitamin D levels up. I have a really tough time um, processing oral vitamin D. And so in order to keep my vitamin D levels up, I get that vitamin D from the sun. Your body will regulate the sun exposure or the vitamin D that it gets from sun exposure. And so you'll get just enough. And so if you really have trouble with skin, let's just say you're very fair, I would encourage you not to slather on the sunscreen and the chemicals and avoid the sun completely. I would just encourage you to minimize your sun exposure. So, I might be able to get out there for an hour or more, and maybe you are limited to 20 or 30 minutes. And maybe you even have to build up to that. As your skin starts to turn a little pink, or what's known as tanning, that's actually a really good sign that your melanin is responding. And so it's good for your skin to have a little color. It's obviously not a good thing if you get too much sun exposure. I was walking on the beach one day and I saw this older gentleman laying out on a lounge chair, and he obviously had gotten too much sun over the years. He probably felt great, honestly, because I just nothing feels better to me than just soaking up some rays from the sun. But I mean, literally, he could have looked like a piece of bacon on my breakfast plate. So that's not what we're looking for here. What we're looking for is just enough sun exposure to get that vitamin D, to perk up our mood, to set our circadian rhythms, and then throw on a hat, sit under an umbrella, you know, take care of your skin that way. If you just absolutely have to be out for an extended period of time, and and you need a way to make sure that you're not going to just fry, because frying your skin is bad, very bad strategy. Just make sure that you're using a really healthy zinc based sunscreen. It's really important to protect your skin. If you don't take care of it in the extreme sun for extended periods of time, and in the full, afternoon sun, you will end up with wrinkles, pigment changes, and even a loss of skin elasticity. Chronic UV exposure can damage collagen and really accelerate the aging process. So the other thing you can do is wear UPF rated clothing, and that might help as well. But really, I prefer to just use natural sunscreen with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. You can really help to heal your skin if you've gotten some sun exposure with things like castor oil. Castor oil can be really helpful after sun exposure. Other antioxidant rich oils like raspberry seed or carrot seed oil can help to add some protection. I really don't think some of these more exotic oils are necessary. Honestly, just get some high quality castor oil and dab a couple of drops on, and you'll be surprised that that will really help to improve your skin over the long haul. So a lot of people really just think that they have to always be in the shade and avoid tanning. And I don't agree with that either. For myself personally, I will even use a tanning bed judiciously if it's the winter and it's really hard to get sun exposure out, naturally. And so get up to date and make sure that the information that you're using is really sort of current, and most importantly, don't be afraid of the sun. And this is one of the best ways to make sure you're keeping your vitamin D levels in optimal range. Are there lifestyle habits I should avoid because they make me look older faster? Well, one of the things that is most common is smoking. So there's nothing like seeing a person that has been smoking for many years, and just the look of their skin, and just generally, it definitely accelerates the aging process. And for any of you who may have may have may have thought that you were doing yourself a favor by going from smoking to vaping, just know that vaping is finally being proven to be the toxic load that I knew it was from the beginning. And vaping is arguably worse than smoking. So just say no to smoking or vaping. Excessive alcohol consumption can also accelerate aging as well. But I would say alcohol consumption causes other issues that maybe aren't as visible from the outside, unless you end up with some condition that is related to liver toxicity. So you just want to make sure that you are countering any of these toxic things that you're doing in your life. Honestly, we can't control all of them, but the things you can control are eating a diet high in natural foods, avoiding the processed foods and sugars, and just making sure that you are getting your nutrients primarily from your food. Another thing that can really mess with your weight and cause a lot of fluctuation is yo-yo dieting. And so you really want to make sure that whatever diet you use, you have a strategy for how you're going to move into the diet and how you're going to move out of the diet. Is the diet sustainable long term? Most diets aren't designed to be sustainable long term. If it's not sustainable long term, then what is on the back end of that diet that is sustainable for you? It's super important that you consider that before you adopt the diet. And then if you're not getting enough physical exercise, then that obviously is going to just make you look old, because you're going to look like you're hobbling around because your mobility will be compromised. And inflammation can do that as well. And if you are eating a diet that doesn't agree with you, toxicity is building up in your body, then inflammation will be a problem, and that will lead to joints being achy, and then you will look like you're hobbling around. And it honestly doesn't happen in 70s and 80s now. It can easily happen in 40s, 50s, 60s. So really important to eat a healthy diet, and that is 80% of the work, is to take care of what you're consuming. Can stress really speed up aging? And what are some simple, natural ways to manage stress in midlife? Oh my goodness, I talk so much about stress. Did you just see me take a breath? Talking about stress stresses me out. Not really. It actually is the most important thing that we talk about, because chronic stress is linked to accelerated aging at the cellular level and increases inflammation. It shortens our telomeres, and the telomeres are basically how our body replicates and renews itself. And if you are constantly stressed, you are going to look and feel older. Managing stress naturally really does help to slow this process. If you practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing, meditation, even guided imagery. I love doing a good visualization guided meditation. Just find one that you really enjoy, and it's just wonderful. You can go into a really deep, relaxing meditation with somebody else's voice guiding you through it. Um, Physical activity, again, is really important, and it's a proven stress reducer. So if you are stressed, one of the best things you can do is just take out and head out for a walk on one of your walking paths that you really enjoy, and get some fresh air and some sun on your skin, and that will go a long way to reducing your stress. Also, you can really focus on staying connected, your social connections and your social activities. Anything too that will make you laugh really can help to ease your stress and boost your oxytocin. And when oxytocin goes up, cortisol goes down, and all good things happen when our cortisol is regulated properly. If you are prioritizing sleep and other self-care routines, that will really help your body recover from the daily stress. Honestly, that's unavoidable. So let's see. That was the last question that I had from pre-recorded. Let's see if I've got any other new questions that I had. I'm not seeing anything right now. So I guess that's it for today's episode. If you'd like me to answer your question, just like I answered these questions today, just comment question and we'll send you a link to the form. It allows you to ask the question anonymously. Did you hear me mention any names today? No, that's because I'm answering the questions anonymously. So you don't have to worry about being called out in public. And remember, you can get chapter 12 from my book, What's Your Kryptonite, for free. Just comment tricky toxins or go to drgayla.com/links. This has been another episode of Live Less Stressed Live. Hit the subscribe button along with the notification bell so that you'll be reminded when I'm going live next. Until then, be well.